We finally have some more information for Operation Dustline for Rainbow Six Siege, so let's get to it. Let's talk about the attacking operator first. So his name is Blackbeard, and we now know that he has a Scar H assault rifle with a 20 round magazine, and it appears to have a fire select button for single and full auto capabilities, along with having the mounting points for the deployable shield, which is the most interesting part, because we had seen this guy before, but he just had what looked like a big metal, or a couple of metal plates on the front of his gun. Didn't look like he'd be able to take them off and put them back on or anything like that. So this is very interesting that you can actually take it off and put it on. That also means there must be a downside to actually having it on, which is very curious. So his sidearm is a Desert Eagle, and that'll probably have a capacity between 7 to 9 rounds. So the big reveal in this video was the gun shield, and this thing looks amazing. It's really big, it looks like it offers quite a lot of protection. It is deployable, which means there must be a downside to actually having it on, which is very curious. It's not a flat piece of glass, you can actually see that it's bent, and I'm wondering if this means it can actually fold up, if it's some sort of new space age material that allows it to fold, because I don't see how he can actually carry this. There's no room in his backpack for this thing, it's huge. So I'm wondering if it could potentially fold up, and that would make a bit more sense. It's also got some markings etched into the glass, and they look kind of like what you would have on a sniper scope, kind of like to help you find range, which is very curious on a close combat shield. So I'm very curious if there's maybe something else to still be revealed that will somehow use those markings, but I can't imagine what. And not only that, it's not symmetrical as well. There's much more protection on the right hand side rather than the left hand side. Now I'm wondering if this means you can stack up with your buddies. Like imagine Blackbeard is coming down a hallway and his buddy is directly behind him but leaning to the left. Would that buddy be able to shoot through the hole in the left hand side of the shield while moving up at the same time with Blackbeard? Now it's going to be a bit risky for kind of like friendly fire, but if you have a really coordinated couple of guys who kind of practice this, that could work really well. And now imagine then putting Blitz or the Mountain alongside them, or in front of them basically. So you have the Mountain or Blitz as a shield, then you have Blackbeard with his shield. You would have a really powerful and strong combination of people just rushing into a room or rushing down a corridor. So I can't wait to see how this plays out in the actual game, and it looks freaking awesome. But I don't think the shield gives perfect protection, because I think you can still get hit in the head. By the looks of it, I think you could probably still get shot from above the shield and through that kind of hole on the left hand side as well. So I think there is weaknesses to it. It's not a completely strong shield, and of course your whole body is going to be completely open to getting hit as well. But it is going to be really cool to see this in action in the game. Now there's something I noticed, and there's this little bit where there's Valkyrie running away with this explosion happening behind her, but there's this fraction of a second where it cuts to Blackbeard and he appears to be moving through just after an explosion went off. And it's the explosion that interests me, because it doesn't look like an explosion I've seen in Rainbow Six before. It's very sparky, and I'm very curious if that potentially is a new kind of explosive, like maybe he has an incendiary grenade or something. It just looks a little bit different from usual, but I could be wrong. It's like a fraction of a second. Basically it's just like 2 frames, so it's really impossible to tell if it is something new. It might just be a normal breaching charge and he's running afterwards. So I can't wait to find out what that is. Now let's talk about Valkyrie, who comes equipped with that SPAS-12 shotgun and the same Desert Eagle as Blackbeard as our secondary. And our special ability is the sticky cameras. So this is the first time we've seen them, and they're quite obvious. They're quite big. They're about the same size as a normal camera in the game, and they have this blue light that we're going to be able to easily see as an attacker. They're going to stand out on a lot of maps, but they do appear to be pretty versatile. Like for instance, we can see here that the camera has turned completely to the right in order to see Blackbeard entering this room, and that's great. They appear to have a nice big range of motion for looking around, so they're not going to be too limited on where you put them. And in the next scene, this appears to be a zoomed in view. It looks like we're actually zooming in. We're definitely cropping in compared to where we were last time. We still have the lines on the top and the bottom. So it appears that this is actually a zoom function on the camera, which is brilliant, because I've always been like, wait, is there someone over there beating down that door or coming in over there? I can actually zoom in. That would be really handy, especially on a bigger map. Now let's talk about the brand new map. This is the first time we've seen it. Now we don't get much information on how big it is, how it's laid out, anything like that, but we can tell that it's in the Middle East. It's in some sort of probable conflict zone. There's these big guard towers, there's barbed wire everywhere. It could be designed to keep people in, so it could be some sort of makeshift prison perhaps, but it also could be a kind of fortified area. There's a lot of kind of old building, and there's kind of much more modern kind of metal looking buildings and concrete. So it's a complete mashup of stuff, and it's impossible to tell at the moment what we're dealing with, but I cannot wait to play this. And I'm actually going to get the opportunity to play this because Ubisoft are actually flying me over to Germany at the weekend, and I'm going to be able to play this and bring you guys back some footage from it. So I can't wait for that. And Tommy T999 and Icy Car are also going to be there with me. So I think you guys should check out their channels as well, because they got some really good Rainbow Six content. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I will catch you next time.